Hey everybody, welcome back to this week's Dark Avenger Comic Book Review.
We're back.
And we've gone through Independence, we've gone through Marvel. Let's go through DC, where there's a bunch of drops.
Oh my god.
First off, Legion Secret Origin number 4, continuing the origin story, but since I'm dropping Legion, it kind of lackluster. The only reason why I'll probably be getting number 5 is because the mention of Superman. They're probably going to introduce Superboy in the next part, and he might go off into the last part as well, so I'll hold on to this series, but for those of you who know the origin story, it's pretty alright, or you don't need to read it. What?
Now, I do have to admit, I did read that. Throughout, half of the story was boring until they introduced 3 new superheroes that are joining the Legion, which I thought was very...
Yeah, people were still joining the team. This is the origin, so to speak.
Right, because in the beginning it was like...
Talky.
Like, talky, like there was really no... Like, I didn't see it. I mean, Chris walked in the room and I said halfway through the book, this is boring.
Mm-hmm.
Until when you walked out 3 superheroes, oh, now we got somewhere, you know.
It's okay. It's an origin story, so if you guys are interested, check it out. Another book that I'm probably going to... There's 2 books I'm going to be dropping. This one's first. Teen Titans number 5 versus Superboy. Superboy made Swiss cheese out of the Teen Titans. Enough said. He took him out with ease, and I hated that stupid line they gave him, so... who wrote this? I forgot. Scott Lobel, you're a funny guy. He's like, when he knocks out Cassie and he's lifting her up and he's putting her down, he's like, in another time, in another place, we might have been friends. Ha ha. Good way to mention the old DCU. In another time, in another place, we might have been friends.
That is just... Wow.
In another time, in another place in the universe that should have remained here. That's what you should have said.
And they were more than that, I'll tell you that much.
A lot better. So that was a funny little pun towards the old DCU, but yeah, he made easy work of the Titans. They were beaten up. The only reason why I possibly will get Teen Titans number 6 is because I'm interested in seeing who the guest star is that the Teen Titans turn to, and I have a feeling I know who it is. Batman. Most likely. Now... It might not be, because every time I see a Batman book, I see the mention of Damian, I see the mention of Dick. I never really see the mention too much of Tim. I saw him only in one book, and that was the Batman book.
Yeah, but he's been in some of the DC comic books already, like, in reference to some of the stories that he's...
No, I'm talking about Tim in the Batman universe. Tim is really not talked about too much.
Yeah.
So we'll see. He was only mentioned once in one Batman book, and that was it. Another book that, yeah, I'm basically done now. The Flash number 5. First story ended really well. Gotta admit, it was really good. Flash tries to save his friend Manuel, who is really just trying to save his clones, or the things that grow from his limbs that are cut off. And he wants to save them, and the experiment goes wrong. Flash tries to save at least Manuel. All the clones die. He blames Flash, who knew, and he disappears. And he starts creating the mob rule again. This is why I'm not coming back. In the very end, it turns out that objects from one period of time are being teleported to other periods of time. Why? Because the Flash is accessing the Flashpoint, and every time he accesses it, stuff from one place gets sent to another place in time, and it causes some type of a paradox, and time and life as we know it... Oh, what was the word the scientist used? Every time you run, you risk bringing us closer to oblivion. I'm sorry to say this, Flash. We've got to destroy the Speed Force. I'm sorry. You lost me at we've got to. And Speed Force following it and destroy. It was a good first story. If you're a Flash fan, I know you're going to be reading this way past, way past issue 5. However, I like the Flash. I'm a moderate fan of the Flash, but I'm not a huge fan of the Flash. I want to see how the first story went. It went really well. The artwork is awesome. However, they have to stop. You know they're not going to destroy the Speed Force, because if they do that, then there's no Flash, and there's no series, and there's no superhero. That's impossible. So I already know where this is going, the next story, so I'm not even going to bother. So this is the last Flash I'm probably going to get. I'm just not big on the Flash, to be quite honest with you guys. It was a good first story. I'm sure it's going to continue to go strong. Just not that big of a Flash fan to continue. Next is Mike's book.
Yep.
Justice League Dark.
Yes, Justice League Dark, number 5. It's still great, this book. So, in this story, we go about the witch, you know, about June finding out and stuff like that. First of all, John Constantine and June meet up with each other in the first issue, and he wants no questions from June, and then Deadman, it has the dead in it.
Well, he could show up anywhere at any time.
Deadman is in another universe, and he's saying that, oh, I have to find June, she's in danger. And, was it Satana? Like, one of the Justice League instructed him to fight the witch, because they want to fight the witch, see what's going on.
Let me see and I'll tell you.
Yeah. Like this part right here.
Zatanna.
Yeah, Zatanna. I knew it was Santana.
Zatanna.
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 Tomatoes, yeah. But anyway, so, he just didn't want to go fight the witch. He just wants to go look for June and stuff like that. You know, Deadman, I don't know. To me, I could like him, and yet I don't know if I can like him. It's like a half and half point. I mean, he's interesting and all that. But yeah, but long story short, so Shade and the rest of the team go out and to fight the witch. One was playing with his mind of his girlfriend. He's like saying, I have to save her. Kathy. Saying, I have to save her, and it's not real. I don't know what's real anymore. Then Shade and Zatanna have a little moment right there. Is right. And basically the spell is just being kind of broken, and I'll get to that in a minute. But then we go back to this old saying that that was said that breaks the witch's spell. To know if June was a witch, he said, there was a crooked man, he walked a crooked mile. Basically, the word crooked was a spell that the witch couldn't listen to, like a saying, or so to speak. Deadman comes along, and he tries to stop this, and he can't possess John Constantine because there's no way he can do that. For some reason that it was just filthy. In the way his powers were in this one. And it's just crazy as it just keeps going. And now June is gone, apparently. She's like nowhere to be found. And Enchantress, gotta work with these names, how to say it.
Zatanna.
Is back to normal. So Deadman is still saying, where is she? I gotta know where she is. Because if I don't know where she is, then I just can't...
What is it with Deadman? First it's Dove, now it's her?
Well, they did kind of...
I know they broke up, but still, damn. 2 girls at once?
Yeah, and Xandu is coming up with a plan, and John Constantine of the cards. And John Constantine gets mad saying, forget your cards and forget all of you. I'm just gonna find out everything myself. And in the end of the book...
The Road to Hell.
Yeah, and there is a card, and she thinks it's her fault about the future of warning them after they left. And what's on the other side of the card? To be continued. The storyline is keeping me hooked. I mean, Justice League Dark is doing an amazing job. I have to say, Peter Milligan, great story. I mean, you got me hooked in this story since the very first one. I am getting issue 6. Just
sweet.
It is just wow, excellent.
And a week late, speaking of Justice League number 5, and it's pretty good. Superman, Flash versus Darkseid. Darkseid kind of beats all with the Omega Beams. Superman gets taken somewhere, and Batman decides he's got to go save Superman, and he tells Green Lantern basically, stay behind, keep the team together, you know, we're always thinking about ourselves, this time it's about everybody else, and it's about saving the world, so stay behind, you have a loud mouth, lead the team, I'm going to go get Superman back. He takes off his cape and cowl, he takes off this bat symbol from his chest, which was kind of weird.
Really?
And Hal Jordan's like, who's Bruce Wayne? I'm like, really? How does Hal Jordan not know who a multi-millionaire is?
He even owns a building.
Stupid. They're rewriting the DCU history as if all the superheroes did not acknowledge any of their existences before this story.
I think the right term would be amnesia.
No, I think the right term would be stupid. Anyway, Batman uses a parademon to follow Superman, who is dragged off by a parademon. And he makes quick work of the parademon, goes through the portal, and where does he end up? To be continued, he ends up on Apocalypse. And he's like, oh, hell. And that basically rounds out this book. I'm going to stick around for the first story with Jim Lee. I don't think I'm going to stick around for the second. I might get the first issue of the second story just to see what happens next, because we're going to jump into present day then. But if that does not impress, and I already saw the artwork for it, and I remember showing several people it, and they're like, oh my god, that's horrid. Looking over the artwork, though, if the story doesn't get better, or if the story doesn't hold me, probably going to drop it.
It's really the story that matters while reading comic books.
Right, and Jim Lee's coming back in 2 issues, so for 2 months I'll have to live with the bad artwork. So we'll see. Green Lantern New Guardians, number 5. Larfleeze stays behind on his homework because he's a lazy you-know-what. And Glombus goes in his place. They show up in front of the universes. I forgot what they called it. Did they give it a name? The Ori?
The Orrery.
Yeah, whatever. This place.
It's a funny name.
And it's too big for them to all explore and get through quickly, so they split up. One team is Blue Lantern, Saint Walker, and what's his name? Acrillo. Yeah, it was Acrillo, right? Yeah, Acrillo. How could I forget his name? Monk and what's her name? Fatality team up, and Kyle teams up with Glombus. Glombus actually talks in this. He's a cute character, I will say that. Also, there's a connection to the Red Lantern story, because Bleez goes back to, what's that planet called? Yasmalt. And it actually, this is right before Atrocitus throws her into the red pool. And it actually references, just prior to Red Lanterns number 3, it actually shows him throwing her into the pool. So if you're interested in seeing what happened here, check out Red Lanterns 1 through 4. Actually 1 through 5. And you'll see what happened there. While back on Okara, you see Larfleeze basically eating. He doesn't care what happens to anybody, really. He's like, all I want is food. So he's already written out of the story, sort of. So they all explore different worlds. The only world that I feel needs any mention is the world at the very end that that Glombus and Kyle Rayner land on. And it's because, for some reason, Larfleeze is considered a monster. And did bad stuff to this world, apparently, at one time. So they summon the Protector and Provider, what is it called? The Archangel. And basically, it's to be continued. The Archangel is ambitious. We've all seen pictures of him already. We've seen previews of issue 5 and issue 6. So he's been alerted. He comes out of the sun in this universe, and basically now it's like the guy's like, you've sealed your fate. He's going to destroy you, and nothing can save you. To be continued. I'm hooked. This is a lot better than a Green Lantern Corps story is going right now, so I'll be around for a bit on New Guardians. I know at some point the Guardian part is gonna, the Guardians are gonna cross over in all 3 of these Green Lantern books. Green Lantern's going really well, even though it's mainly Sinestro. Green Lantern Corps is 50-50. I put that in 3rd place. This gets a strong 2nd place. I'm enjoying the story a lot. Has a lantern for every Corps except the Red right now because she's busy doing stuff from the Red Lantern series. I'm sure she'll come back at some point. So, yeah, I would say check it out. Really good. Next is Michael.
Okay.
All-Star Western.
All-Star Western, number 5.
They're all number 5s.
Yeah. Now, let me say it. Okay. I read the book of All-Star Western. I'm just going to give it a briefie because this is what happens. The so-called zombie kingpin, however, as we read from last issue, of course he doesn't, the doctor doesn't get shocked, and Jonah Hex finds a way of gonna attack him.
Right.
His plan failed.
Right.
And both Jonah Hex and Doc get thrown to this whirlpool that leads them into some type of cave.
Right.
The doctor is paranoid. He's like saying, "Oh my gosh, where we go? I don't know where I am. It's just crazy." And Jonah Hex gets annoyed with him. You know, it really gets annoying saying, "If you say one more thing, I'm going to throw you over the cliff. If you say one more thing, I'm going to shoot you. If you say this, I'll..." Yeah. So they're trying to find their way back because they have Jonah Hex's gun and everything. And he's like saying, before they got thrown in, "I will be back for them." So they go searching. They go into these weird-looking aliens. Yeah, I gotta find out. Well, work is not as good.
Howard looks alright.
Yeah, the, oh god, what were they called? But they, Jonah Hex just takes them out one by one, and he's like saying, "What if they come back?" And he's like saying, "We'll just deal with them." And, they're just trying to find their way back, and, oh wait, I think I found it. I don't know. And then in the end, they go up against, you know how the cover says inside the Batcave? In the end, they meet up with a bat, and they're still traveling through the cave. And of course, the Barbary Ghost does another appearance as the advertisement. So after reading this book, this all-star western, had it. I am not going to go through another issue where they're going to go through this cave and then they're going to go through this type, that type, just to get there. So you know what? Dropping it.
Okay,
it was a great
that's
issue.
3 books that have been dropped.
Right. It was a great issue, but after that, I can't take the art. I can't take the story. It is horrible. I am not coming back to issue 6.
That's a total of 3 books this week that we're dropping from DC.
Goodbye, All-Star Western. Nice knowing you.
Okay, Batman The Dark Knight issue 5 is definitely climbing up there in the ranks. It's still in 3rd place though because I still like what's going on in Batman and Robin. Basically, finally, Batman comes up against Scarecrow and finally he does get injected with the serum that's been going around Arkham Asylum that's buffing everybody out. The reason I like this book so much, I'll show you with the splash art. Batman gets injected. Wonder Woman's busy, we all know. But Wonder Woman alerts somebody of that that Batman needs help. And who else did she alert but Superman? So there's a fight. Basically, Batman's warning Superman get away. Finally, the serum takes control, and Superman's trying to snap Batman out of it. It's not working. It's Batman versus, Superman. And in the end, Superman's like, "I didn't want to do this. I'm sorry, but..." And Batman comes crashing into the place he was just in, and he's knocked out cold. And Superman's like, Batman? I don't like the way they have characterized Superman. He seems more cold, more like straightforward. Like I remember back in the old DCU, if Superman showed up, he's like, "Batman, you know, Wonder Woman had mentioned to me you needed help. Are you okay? What's going on?" Instead, all he says here is, "I received the word from Wonder Woman that you required assistance." I didn't know Superman became a robot.
Yeah, almost like a Superboy kind of, huh? Or it could maybe be Cyborg Superman.
No, it's not Cyborg Superman. This is the real Superman.
It is?
They've recharacterized him. Yes, they have. Bravo, David Finch, Paul Jenkins, and Richard Friend. Richard Friend. I hope I didn't think it would be Friend though, but whatever. Really good book. I enjoyed it. The fight between Superman and Batman was fun because it's Batman not thinking straight, so it's all brute strength, so to speak, and it was really awesome. I enjoyed it implicitly. Sorry, we just checked the time. I would highly recommend this series so far. Finally, Batman gets injected with the serum. We see him all hulked out for what, 5 or 6 pages fighting Superman?
And that's it.
And you're left off with what happens next. What's going to happen to Batman? Superman just basically knocked the living daylights out of him. I can't wait for the next issue. Finally this week, still on top. Can't believe it. Aquaman number 5. It starts off with Aquaman being crashing into the desert. We don't know how. It skips forward and backward through time. It skips back to where scientists were digging through one of the cocoons from the creature from the trench, and it turns out there was a little A symbol, which they thought represented Aquaman, but really it represents Atlantis, and it's setting off this weird beacon-like sound. And Aquaman's like, I'll be there in a second. Then it jumps back to the present where he's in the desert walking around and he hallucinates his father, who says, you're only on shore because you feel like you're lost. You go in the sea, you're lost. You go on the earth, you're lost. You're a joke to people on the earth, on land, and you're afraid to go into the sea, so to speak. Jump back to the past, and Aquaman is now where they had found the A. He's observing it, and he's saying it's from Atlantis. The guy's like, it exists. He's like, yes. As he's examining it, a task force breaks in. We don't know who they are, and they take the A, and they run off. Aquaman chases after them, which then explains why they crashed into the desert, why he crashed into the desert. They were flying over the desert. Aquaman busts one of them in the face, and the mask explodes. And spoiler alert, it was an Atlantean, because water came out, and they can't breathe on land.
Wow.
So there was a breach, the ship crashes, and then it goes back to present day, where Aquaman is approaching the ship. He finds the A, and there's a message on it. And it was a message before Atlantis actually sunk. It was a message saying that somebody's going to sink Atlantis, and it's all because of the king and the queen. There were secrets and whatnot. This is all leading into Aquaman finding out who sank Atlantis and why. And basically the army shows up, saves Aquaman, and this is where I think the series is going to tank for one issue. Aquaman goes home with the curiosity of what happened to Atlantis now, why did it involve his mother, and who did it and why. But when he gets home, Mira's gone, and in the next issue it says Mira versus the world. So the next issue is going to basically be starring Mira. We'll see how that goes. Issue held strong, artwork held even stronger. What?
I was just saying, and I think we said this before in the comic book rundown, actually, that the Batman cover there and this cover, they almost look the same.
They look the same until they change the color of the smoke on the Batman cover.
Yeah, I was actually just going to bring that out. But Aquaman, surprisingly, I can't even believe myself, because in the old DCU, I cared less about Aquaman. But now, the way I'm seeing the story picking up and everything, of who sunk Atlantis, that is.
Yeah, this story is going to be really interesting.
I want to know myself who did it. Artwork's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a good... No, here's when the hologram showed up.
Yep.
And, yeah, basically they got attacked by the creatures from the trench, and that's when the hologram ended. So all Aquaman sees is it's a distress call, and it's a message to the people of Atlantis. He's like, he's threatening to sink Atlantis. Because of the king and queen, they hid the truth from us. And then the message gets interrupted because they were being attacked by the creatures from the trench. Next issue, Mira versus the world. I'm skeptical of issue 6, but that's next month. For this month, Aquaman is still on top for DC Comics this week. Really, really good. I really enjoyed it. So, 3 drops from DC this week. 2 awesome books. And the rest are all pretty good also.
Except for Star Wars.
That counts as the 3 drops.
Oh, okay.
So, DC either is doing really good or their stuff's getting dropped. And Marvel's doing really good as well. Let's give the run. I'll give you guys the rundown.
See you all next time.
And we'll see how this week goes. I'm just stopping the timer, might as well. Okay, let's run down these books this week. First off, Superboy, lead figure, Superhero Collections number 99. Check it out. Hopefully you'll catch it in your stores before it sells out. Comic book wise, Aquaman number 5, still going awesome. I would say check it out. Batman The Dark Knight issue 5, also really good. I would say check it out. Superman vs. Batman. All-Star Western 5, Mike is dropping.
Don't bother, guys. Just I'm dropping it. So goodbye.
Green Lantern New Guardians is second place, a best good Green Lantern book. Green Lantern Corps is alright. The story is picking up. However, New Guardians is just a little bit better at this moment in time, in my opinion. Justice League number 5 is still going pretty well. Not too much develops, more along the lines of team building. This was like strengthening the team, so to speak, for the Justice League, getting the Justice League started. So it was alright. I'd say check it out. Justice League Dark number 5.
Very good. Getting issue 6.
Flash 5 was a good first story. Don't like where the next story's going, so I'm dropping it, but I enjoyed the first story. If you're a Flash fan, I know you guys are going to stick around. Teen Titans 5, Superboy made work of the Teen Titans like that. He knocked them all out, beat them all, without a sweat. And basically, this story, you want to read Superboy because now he's going back to Project Nowhere, and I'm pretty sure it's to be continued in Superboy, and Teen Titans are going to go off and lick their wounds. Legion Secret Origin, number 4. If you know the origin of the Legion of Superheroes, it's up to you. They tweak it a bit. They're tweaking it a bit in this. It was okay.
Yeah.
Secret Avengers 21.1. If you're ready to jump on to Secret Avengers like me, you will definitely be checking this book out. The Mighty Thor 10 was pretty good as well. Thor is back. I'm very happy about that. Dark and Dark Wolverine. This is the transition issue between one story and another. Deadpool 49.1, setting us up for the Dead story arc. Really, really good. Catches you up from issue 1 to issue 48 of Deadpool. I would highly recommend it. It's Deadpool. It's crazy. It's a musical. So check it out. X-Men Legacies 261.
That was good. Next issue with Cyclops. I can't wait to see what happened and what's going on.
Fantastic Four 602. Story's picking up a bit. However, once again, I probably will end up dropping Fantastic Four after this story arc. Alpha Flight 8 of 8, the last issue of Alpha Flight. Alpha Flight was really good. If you guys have been collecting it, you'll enjoy it. Wolverine made like one panel appearance, so yeah. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles issue 6. This is the full, out of all the comics, comic book of the week as always. Really, really good. I enjoy Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. If you're a fan of the Turtles, if you even just like the Turtles, I would be recommending you check this comic out. Infestation 2, number 1. I'm just let down that I had to have read Outbreak to completely understand what's going on. However, I'm excited for the coming months with the coming tie-ins that all will lead into Infestation 2, number 2, which will conclude the Infestation 2 story arc. Next time, though, if there is a story that follows it, I might actually get on it just in case there's an Infestation 3 in 2013. Well, guys, that's it for this week. Sorry if the reviews were a little bit hazy and stuff. What?
No, none.
Okay. I'm sorry if the reviews were a little bit hazy. As I said, I'm sick. Hopefully by next weekend I'll be back to par and I'll be able to give more of an in-depth review and be able to talk a little bit better as well. Hope you guys have a wonderful week. Hopefully I'll have a video or two up throughout this week. And yeah, so take care everybody. I'll see you guys soon. Monthly review, CCC, tomorrow. See you guys then.
Later, guys.
Take care everybody.